Cold calling is something a lot of us find really tough. I know I do. I get nervous talking to a computer in an empty room, let alone picking up the phone and calling customers out of the blue. Um, Lean startup requires a lot of cold calling, really, because the first stage in customer development, customer discovery, we need to interview. We need to get on the phone and interview customers. A friend of mine, Mike Shell, wrote a book called Buyer Approved Selling. Um, he developed the book through research and a really similar approach to customer development. Basically, he collaborated with hundreds of professional buyers, professional procurers in Fortune 500 companies, people whose job is basically to be sold to every day. And he evolved sales techniques with them, which are exactly how they want to be approached. Having this knowledge gives you confidence that you're doing things right, that you're being effective, that you're being appropriate, so you can go in there feeling professional and not feeling like you have to be a bulldog type of salesperson. One of the techniques he developed was called the permission-based cold call. The key point about this technique is that it immediately communicates that you value and respect the person's time. Um, so basically, when you call, you introduce yourself in a relevant way to the person, whether it's relevant to their industry or to the problem you're solving or to their position, um, within one sentence, and then you just ask to continue. Just say, is now a good time? What happens is that because you've communicated that you respect their time, they will actually, first of all, it's you'll differentiate yourself from all the other salespeople calling. Uh, but also, when you get this answer, you'll actually, when you speak to them, you'll actually have their attention. So, if they are busy right now, if they don't have time for you right now, you've called and interrupted. They'll usually tell you when's a good time to call, and then when you call back, you will have their attention. Or if they're in the middle of something and they actually do have a few minutes for you, they can actually switch modes. So rather than be on the phone and have kind of an annoying sales call and trying to finish off whatever they're doing while they're talking to you, they'll actually put that aside for a minute or two to speak to you, and this makes the call a lot more effective. There are a lot of techniques like this that Mike developed. There's about 30 in the book, um, but I'd like to throw this out to Mike because the book was written for an established sales process, and there's a few key differences between that and the customer development approach that we're taking. First of all, we're not selling; we're calling and researching. So we can offer some advice and some in-depth market knowledge in exchange for their time, but ultimately we're calling to solve their problem. And we're the goal of the call ultimately isn't the same as the sales goal, because we need to call multiple customers. We need to call 10 to 50 customers, potential customers, and keep interviewing until we get consistent feedback. Once we have consistent feedback, that gives us the confidence that our understanding of the problem is relevant and adequate enough to move on to the next step. And the third thing is that we're not looking for just anybody who might want to buy this product in the future. We're looking for early adopters. We're looking for people who not only recognize they have the problem now, but are trying to solve it themselves. This is a key difference, that they're already working on it themselves. So ultimately, our goal is a true understanding of the customer problem. So what can you advise us? Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, Mike.